Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In my previous video, we had talked about data analysis for numerical variables and we had also seen data analysis for categorical variables using count plots and using histograms. And this series is specifically targeted for Excel developers or analysts who want to transition into Python to scale up their data analysis and automate their data analysis tasks. If you have not seen the first part of the series, I highly encourage you to see that. But if you have some knowledge of data analysis and you have some knowledge of Python, you can follow directly this video as well. By the end of this video, we will be doing bivariate analysis and of categorical variables and bivariate analysis of numerical variables, and we'll be appending our analysis into our report as we had seen in the earlier video. And the next part of the series, I'll be covering multivariate analysis, that is analysis of three or more variables with each other. So either numerical or categorical variables. Okay, we'll be following that in the next series. So now let us take a look at bivariate analysis, that is the analysis of two categorical variables, and bivariate analysis, that is the analysis of two numerical variables with each other. But before we dive right into it, do not forget to subscribe to my channel for the latest of data analytics across Python and Excel. Let's move into the code now. I'm going to be using Colab. We will continue where we left off in the previous video. So now we are going to build a contingency table. So I'm using the pd.crossTab function from the pandas library. Crosstab is nothing but a pivot table in Excel. So Excel developers are very famous with pivot tables. So this is a pivot table. So yeah, I'm doing a pivot table with cylinder and VS. So you can see a nice pivot table. As a homework, you can try and explore this with different other categorical variables and see how easily it generates pivot tables for you. And now we'll go to the same a similar kind of code which we have written to automate our task for doing univariate analysis. We'll write a piece of code and automate our task for doing categorical variable analysis, but for bivariate analysis. That means two or more categorical variables with each other. We had seen categorical variable analysis with univariate analysis concepts, but now we'll do bivariate analysis. So here I am counting the number of categorical variables which we had got above. So this is the list of categorical variables here. So I'm counting that, the first line of code, and that I'm assigning to the number of plots variable. And now this is going to help me determine the total number of rows. I'm doing number of plots plus 2 and float division with 3. The reason I'm using 3 is because I want to have 3 columns in each row. You can play with this number and add more columns if you want. As we discussed in the previous video, I'm going with 3. Then we are going to do plt.subplots. So basically we are going to create now the grid which will plot the different subplots in a grid format. So I'll give the total number of rows. The columns are, as we discussed, are 3, and the figure size, the width is going to be constant, and the height will be depending on the number of rows. So 6 multiplied by the number of rows which we have got here. Now a simple loop to loop through the categorical variables. We are using the enumerate function which will return the index and the categorical variable for all the categorical variables. And as we discussed in the previous session, we are going to use the div_mod function for every variable in the list. So for all the values of the categorical variable, we are going to use the div_mod function which does nothing but the division, the float division and the modulus operation to give us the different coordinates. So this will give us values like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2 for the first row, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2 for the second row, and so on and so forth. Then a simple line of code to do the count plot. But here, instead of just doing a univariate analysis, I'm giving the categorical variable name as the x. For the x-axis, the categorical variable, and I say I want to do the analysis against the cylinder variable. So I'm analyzing each categorical variable because it's a loop against the cylinder variable. You can again, for your own homework, you can play around and add different other categorical variables here, or you can write a loop to do it for you. So it will loop through every categorical variable and will analyze it against the cylinder variable. I'm giving the data frame, and here again this is the axis where I want to place each subplot. So first one will go in row 0, column 0, second row 0, column 1, third row 0, column 2, fourth will go in row 1, column 0, and so on and so forth. And then again for each of these loops we will for each row and column we will set the title, label, X label, Y label, and the legend. Okay, that's also that will give you so many plots depending on the number of categorical variable which are analyzed against the cylinder variable. This is nothing but this will just remove any empty subplots and we are going to generate a tight layout. So I'll click on this, and pd.save pages will save this, will append this into our PDF which we have already created. So as we discussed, so we are going to append that to our report. So now you can see the first one is again cylinder with cylinder only because it has looped through. The second one, you can see it has given VS in the x-axis and it is analyzed it against cylinder. So the different colors in the legend, you can see the cylinder. Then here it has done the bivariate analysis of AM against cylinder, then bivariate analysis of gear versus cylinder. So you can quickly see that the 3 gear cars there are many cars with 3 gears having 8 cylinders, and there are fewer cars with 5 gears having 8 cylinders. So you can get these analysis and carburetor versus cylinders again, which will give you good insight to the type of cars. So this is your bivariate analysis for categorical variables. I'm not diving deep into what these mean because we have covered that in our Excel series. This is just to show how Excel developers can automate their task by simple lines of code instead of doing it manually, and this can be appended. This code can be used as a template format for any large number of variables in your data set. So I can have variables in the order of 100, 1000 and even number of rows. You can automate this automatically. In Excel you would have to do this manually. And now let us move to bivariate analysis of numerical variables, again with simple lines of code. Just do a pair plot for all the numerical variables which we have defined above. Here again, just let us see where we defined the numerical variables. Yes, these were the numerical variables: mpg, disp, horsepower, drad, wt and qsec. And now with the simple line of code, okay, we are doing a pair plot and plotting the title, and again we are saving it to our PDF report. Okay, and this again will automatically do the bivariate analysis for all the numerical variables. You would have to do it manually for each and every numerical variable using the scatter plot in Excel. You would have to do so many scatter plots. Now look at this, how easy it is. You can see all your analysis of your bivariate analysis of your numerical variables. So you can see the triangle below and the triangle above are symmetrical and mirror images of each other. So the below part of the triangle is a mirror image of the upper part, so you can look at only one half of the triangle, and you can see your relationship between different variables. So relationship between displacement and which one, and mpg, a relationship between horsepower and mpg, and so on and so forth, relationship between horsepower and displacement. You can see all these relationships. And lastly, we will just save this into our report, and then you will get the report as we saw earlier. This is our saved report. So in the next video, I'll be covering multivariate analysis, where we analyze 3 or more variables, either numerical or categorical or a combination of both, and you can try it with other different combinations. So do stay tuned for that. If you like the video, do leave a comment on the video and give a like, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for the latest of data analytics across different technologies. Thank you.